Solving trigonometric equations, worksheet 3 solutions. I hope you could get most of the questions, but here are the solutions. Even if you have got the answers, I would like you to go through these solutions and if you can, learn some strategies and pick up some good ideas, okay? Now, this very first question is the most typical of all. It is sin x plus cos x minus 1 equals to 0. And it involves a lot of strategies to work with, right? It looks simple equation but extremely difficult to solve. Now here what we do is that we can write it in like what is sin x equals to. So we'll understand this strategy in a moment. So sin x can be written as, we'll take these terms to the right side. So we get 1 minus cos x. Now we can square both sides, correct? If we square both sides, we get sin square x equals to 1 minus cos x whole square. Remember one thing, when you do this step of squaring, then what you have done is that you have incorporated errors, and so I'm putting a red dot here. Errors in the sense that, imagine, sin x is positive in two quadrants and negative in two others, right? So sin x basically, if you see, is positive, positive and negative, negative. But when we square it, then what happens? Even in these quadrants, it becomes positive, and that leads to wrong results, right? So that is the problem. It's like saying minus 1 square is actually plus 1, but it is not. It is minus 1, okay? So that means that when you get a solution, you have to check which ones are valid, right? Place those values back into the equation and check. That is a must. Now let's continue with this. So we get what sin square x equals to, we'll expand this, which is a minus b whole square. So you get a square minus 2ab plus b square. Okay, so 1 is a square minus 2 times ab, which is 2 cos x plus cos square x, correct? So that's what we get. Now if I write sin square x in terms of cos square x, I have a quadratic equation in cos. So I'll write this as 1 minus cos square x, correct? Equals to 1 minus 2 cos x plus cos square x. Now let me bring all the terms to the right and see what happens. We get 0 equals to, when I bring minus cos square x, it becomes plus cos square x. And we already have 1 here, so it becomes 2 cos square x. And we have minus 2 cos x. Plus when I bring 1 here, 1 minus 1 is 0, so you get 0 there. Perfect. So this can easily be factored, and here we have our factor. 2 is common, right? Plus cos x is common. 2 cos x is common, and we are left with cos x minus 1. Now, so we have cos x times cos x minus 1 as quadratic equation in factored form. So let me rewrite this here. Okay, so we have 2 cos x times cos x minus 1 equals to 0. That is our equation. Now that means the possibility of solutions which we have is cos x could be 0 or cos x could be 1. So these are the possibilities. One is that cos x equals to 0, and the other is that eliminate cos x equals to 1, right? So these are the possibilities. Now when is cos x 0 and when is cos x 1? So we can find it using our diagram, or but let me just do it like this. So from here, from the graph itself, we know it is 0 at these points and it is 1 at these points, correct? So the possible solutions, we'll write possible solutions, right? Why possible solutions? Because some of them could be wrong, right? Are 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 270 degrees, and 360 degrees, correct? So these are all the possible solutions. Now we will figure out which ones are really correct answers for us. Now if I plug in 0 degrees here, sine 0 is 0, right? Okay, now let's have another graph for sine. Let's not mess it up, right? So So we have in the graph for sine here, this is sine is kind of like this. Okay, now if I put 0, sine is 0, so if I write 0, then cos is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0, that is correct. So 0 works for us, right? Now, how about 90 degrees? At 90 degrees, cos is 0, right, and sine is 1, sine is 1, that works for us, perfectly fine, okay? 1 minus 1 is 0. Now at 270 degrees, so at 270 degrees, minus 1 for sine and 0. So minus 1 actually is minus 2. So this does not work for us, correct? So that doesn't work. And the last one is 360. So at 360 we have 0 for sine and we have 1 for cos. So 1 minus 1 is correct. So it works for us. So see, because that was minus 1, do you see it didn't work because we made it positive here. So now we can write down our answer, right? So the answer is x is equals to 0 degrees, 90 degrees and 360 degrees. So these are the three correct answers for our trigonometric equation sin x plus cos x minus 1 equals to 0, right? Those of you who are writing in radians, they should write answer in radians, correct? So that's how you do this, and similar strategy is to be adopted in following 4 questions, right? Now, you can make corrections on your own because you have understood a strategy, and then look for my solutions and suggestions. All the best, and I hope you're enjoying this journey of learning how to solve trigonometric equations. Thank you and all the best.